My name is Daniel N. Paul. Oh, the name of the book is Chief Lightning Bolt. What inspired me to write the novel was that I wrote a book about the history of the Mi'kmaq called We Were Not the Savages. The intent of We Were Not the Savages was lay out the history of interaction between Europeans and the Mi'kmaq. So then I took the notion that I should write a novel that would put on paper the way the Mi'kmaq lived, their civilization, the fact that the Mi'kmaq had a viable civilization that included child care, elder care, they had marriages, they had divorce, and treated each other as equals. There was no elite people at the top. The chief was considered equal among his people, and any perks that he got with his position was earned by him for his performance as chief and his adherence to democratic principles of the Mi'kmaq Nation. Well, I'll read you a piece and it'll tell you what it's about, okay? In view of the fact that before European invasion, the Mi'kmaq did not have any First Nation enemies interested in attacking them to satisfy a greedy need to accumulate wealth and dominance over others, I had to use my imagination to create a First Nation to fill the requirement for one. This fictional nation was needed to display the Mi'kmaq adversity toward war-making activities in this novel. I endowed it with the title Western Nations. That the Mi'kmaq and other northeastern North American First Nations held such views toward war is well supported by the comments left behind by scholars and colonial Europeans. Few examples. The behavior pattern requisite of any Mi'kmaq was such as to virtually eliminate any overt and direct forms of aggression. The ideal man was one who was restrained and dignified in all his actions, who maintained a stolid exterior under all circumstances, who deprived himself of his possessions to take care of the poor, aged or sick, or the less fortunate, who was generous and hospitable to strangers, but implacable and cruel to his enemies, and brave in war. Later in the novel, for the purpose of showing the chief working to end the senseless war perceived wrong, I created two other fictional First Nations, the Pennock and the Antikis. My intention in writing this book is to offer an historical narrative that captures the essence of what and who the Mi'kmaq First Nations were prior to the onslaught of the European colonization, and what life was like for the members of the Mi'kmaq village. The story is set during the 15th century, a period when the Mi'kmaq Nation was strong and allied with several other northeastern nations within the Wabanaki Confederacy. The Mi'kmaq Nation is located in what today is called the eastern provinces of Canada and part of the American state of Maine. The story of Chief Lightning Bolt is a story of how a Mi'kmaq man with leadership attributes was expected to live his life with honor and humility. Each chapter represents a different phase of his life, the customs and traditions he was expected to observe and uphold, the actions he would take and the values he would cherish and try to always embody. In Lightning Bolt, we see the adventurousness of youth, the intense nervousness of a young man trying to win the hand of the woman he loves, the commitment to serving his community in the hunt, and when absolutely necessary in battle, and his dedication to serving his people justly and fairly through an egalitarian and democratic process. So anyway, that's what it's all about. Was the books was to show the Mi'kmaq for what they were, a highly civilized people that were invaded by what I consider a very barbaric race of people at that time.